Good evening, everyone. Oh, I'm fuzzy-duzzy. Let's see. I think maybe I'll be back in focus. There we go. Good evening. I hope you've had a pleasant start to the week and a good end of July, which is crazy. In Sweden, we have vacations. They call it the industrial vacation, so pretty much everyone has their vacation in July. And then some people continued into August, but July is like the main vacation. And I think I've talked about this before, but I have a theory about how we perceive vacation or any kind of break. So the way it works is the first half of whatever break you have, and this can be 1 week, it can be 1 year. It's really the same, or 1 month. It doesn't really matter. So the first half, if it's like, oh my goodness, this is endless. We have so much time, and you just go around, and there's nothing, no stress, no anything. You're just really enjoying yourself and doing stuff. And then at the halfway point, there's something that just changes, and all of a sudden, it feels like, oh my goodness, it's gonna end soon. I have to do something. And so the last half always feels more stressful. It almost feels like it ends much quicker than the first half, which lasts forever. And I've experienced this with vacations, like a week, or just weekends even. And I've seen it when I was younger. I worked. No, I didn't work, but I was an exchange student abroad, and I was away for a year, a few times actually. And when I did that, it was the same thing. The first half of the year was like, wow, it's so much time, I'm going to be here forever. And then after Christmas, after the half the first semester was done, it was just, wow, it's just running away, and it's going to be over soon. Crazy how different it felt when you had gone through that first half, and all of a sudden you were towards the end, and you were, just almost there. Let's see, I'm having some problem with the chat. I see people, but I don't see people. That's very strange. Yeah, I can see people concurrent, but then there's no one there, but they're there. I don't know. I'm assuming YouTube has been having some issues with the numbers on the stream. At least for me, they've been having that, and I think not sure what I'm doing wrong. So vacation time is here, and it always feels like it goes so quick. So I'm hoping if you're on vacation, that you're having a good start at least, or a nice end, or maybe it's already over. I don't know. But I think there's a similarity to be had also with when we think about practicing, and if you go to a retreat, I think the first retreats I ever went to was not really a retreat, but it was more of a seminar with Neely Donald Walsh, Conversations with God. If you've ever read those books, it was like one of the first spiritual books that I ever read. And I remember it was a weekend thing, and we would go there, and I was so excited, and there was something new. I'd never been to anything spiritual before. And we came there, and you met all the people, and then the first day you got to know everyone, and there was so much new stuff, and there was really nice energy and vibe to the place when we got there. But then after that, of course, it just took the second day, just like flew by, and then it was over. But there is something you bring with you when you've been away to something like that, and it's the same with going on vacation, depending on how you do it. If you have a vacation and you're actually able to just stop and be there for the vacation, and not just go in your mind thinking about, I'm going to go back, or I have to do all these things. And I suffer from that. I have so much stuff that needs to be taken care of around the house, so it's difficult sometimes to just stop and do those things. But I think that if we just allow, it doesn't really matter what we do, as long as you're there and enjoying what you're doing. And that can be, they can be working in the garden, or it can also be doing work, even if you want to do that, or lying on the beach. It doesn't really matter. It's the same thing, but the ability to enjoy doing what you're doing is difficult. It does take time to allow yourself to not be carried away by these distortions pulling you, making you feel like, I need to go over there and do something, or I need to achieve something. Even if you maybe have to do that, because the consequences are, I always say there is nothing we have to do. It's just that the consequences of not doing those things when we see have to are so big that we call them have tos, even though they're not really have tos. It's just our way of saying that the consequences of not doing it are so big or so bad that we call it a have to, because if we don't, then something really bad is going to happen. So you don't have to go to work. There's nothing that says that you have to go to work. But if you don't go to work, you won't earn any money. And if you don't earn any money, you won't have anywhere to live. You won't be able to pay your rent, so you won't have anywhere to live. And you might not be able to pay for your food. I mean, you will not be able to pay for your food. And so then you'll be thrown out on the street. So the consequences are so big that most of us say, no, I have to work. That's how it works. So yeah, we have those ideas when we call them have tos, but actually what it really is just that the consequences are so bad that we feel we have to do them. When we look at meditation, it's a similar thing there as well. It's just that we don't see the urgency of it. The idea that doing this practice of both meditation but also learning to enjoy our lives is something that we feel, I don't have to do it because the consequence of not doing it doesn't seem like that big. But if you think about it, that this is the only life you have. I mean, it's not like we know what's going to happen after. Some people may believe that we come back or that you go somewhere else, but we don't know. The only thing you know for sure is that this moment right now, you are here and you are experiencing this world or this life, whatever it may be. And you can choose what you want to do with that. But if you choose to not enjoy this moment, then you're not going to get it back. There's not going to be at the end when you turn 70, 80 and you start having pain everywhere and joint pains and everything is difficult, and you go, you know what? I wish I would have spent that time when I was younger. I wish I would have actually done something with it and really enjoyed my life then. But now it's too late and you can't come back. So even though it might not seem that urgent, it really is rather important that we learn to be here and to enjoy being here, because if we don't, we'll never get this moment back and you'll miss this opportunity. It is so strange. Like I said, I see people in the stream and I can see something happening, but yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the chat. I am live, right? I had that one time when I actually forgot to turn on the stream. No, it looks like it's good. Okay. So, there doesn't seem to be any questions today, and for those of you who are new, we usually sit down and chat a little bit, and then we do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. After that, we sit. Today's Thursday, so we'll just sit together for 20 minutes. And the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method is a way of coming back to our senses. It's a way of letting go of the feeling that anything around you needs to be a specific way for you to enjoy being where you are. So we say out aloud 5 things that we can see, 4 things we can feel, 3 things that we can hear, 2 things we can smell, and 1 thing that we can taste. So, and for instance, I'll start with this one. I see a metal bell, and when I look at this, I can see the reflections, I see the shadows, I see the texture, I see how there's light coming from the screen reflecting off of this. I can see all those things in this little bell. And if I look at that and don't think, I've seen this one before, I know what it's like, it's good, it's bad, it's mine, it's yours, I wish it was bigger, I wish it was smaller, whatever it is that you're not accepting of this thing right now is what is pushing you out of now. So instead, just look at it and just try to see it for what it is without having a feeling towards it, and instead just letting it be there by itself. There's no need for you to interact with this in any way. There's no need for you to feel that this is good or bad or different or any way. It's just something you're seeing. And there's a famous saying in Buddhism which says that in the seen is only the seen, in the heard is only the heard, in the felt is only the felt. So we don't add anything on top of our life experience. We're not interjecting an I that's interpreting this. Instead, it's just something that we're seeing. I see a cushion. There's lots of stains here. There's all these fabrics as the threads coming up. Actually really interesting. And that's what it's all about. It's about getting interested and engage with reality as it is right now for you. So obviously don't say the things I'm saying, but say out aloud the things that you're seeing at your end. I see a t-shirt. I see a chair. And I see a microphone. There's 5 things that I could see. Next we take 4 things that we can feel. I can feel my telephone. I can feel the case. I can feel the glass on the front and how different that feels on the back. This little popsicle. No, what are they called? Pop sockets. Not popsicle. I can feel how that feels. So that's interesting as well. I felt this 1,000 times, but instead we're just trying to feel it. Oh, what does this actually feel like? What's the weight of it? Just having a sensation of what this is like to feel, because many times we just take it and, oh, I've taken that before, so we're not really experiencing it. I feel what do I call this? A box. It's a box for a mouse mat, and I can feel the mouse mat inside of it. Very glossy, interesting feeling to it. And then there's this fabric to this. Next thing, what can you feel more? I can feel the tripod for my microphone. Also really different feeling from what it felt like to feel the fabric. And instead of thinking it's good, it's bad, or I want it, I don't want it, it's just something you're feeling. What does that feel like for you? And finally, I feel my leg. I can feel the heat from the leg and all my hairs. And I can also feel that the sensation of my hand on my leg, but I can also feel my leg in my hand. So it kind of goes both ways. I was 4 things that I could feel. Next we take 3 things that we can hear. I can hear a distant airplane. I can hear a car passing by. I can hear the hum of electronics. There's 3 things I could hear. Next we take 2 things that we can smell. I can smell strawberries. And I also smell shampoo or soap. 2 things that I could feel. Next, 1 thing that we can taste. Sorry, 2 things that I could smell. Next, 1 thing that we can taste. I taste rooibos. My tea. Thank you. Hey, JVB. Yeah, it was... thank you for that nice hit, by the way. The chat had... I'm not sure what was wrong, but I could see people in there, but then for some reason they didn't appear. I can see how many people are online, but I can also see how long people have watched. And there were people in the stream, but no one was watching. Yeah, something was wrong. How are you doing today, JVB? So I started the sitting a little bit earlier. Oh. You're the king today. If you're still here, maybe you disconnected. Hey, Catherine. Nice to see you as well. How I'm doing? I've had a... it's been an intense week. Being on vacation with the kids is not always... it's not always relaxing, and I have my parent-in-laws here as well, so it's a lot of people in a small space. Well, we have our garden, and it's good weather, but still, it's a lot of stuff happening, but it's good otherwise. Feeling good. It's nice to see you again, Catherine. I haven't seen you for a while. You haven't... I don't think so, at least. Or have I just missed you? Yeah, it's nice to have you here again. Have you been good since I last saw you? Or I apologize if you've been here every week. You've been lurking, okay, yeah. I know some people write me private messages and say that they prefer to just sit and like listen. I obviously enjoy the interaction with people because it gives me more to talk about. JVB, I think you asked me about the thumbnails last time. I've been enjoying them lately. I've been doing them with a lot of them are made with AI, and I think that's incredible how that's helping. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're asking again. It's basically it's a site where I uploaded. I think I uploaded like 35 photos or something like that of myself, and then the AI builds in like a 3D image of me. And then I can tell the AI, Martin is sitting in a empty room with a direct beam coming from the sky, shining on him. In the background, there's thunder, lightning, or whatever, and then it will generate an image like that. And I think that's incredible how easy it is to make, because one of my main issues, I do enjoy making videos, but I just don't have the time, and it's difficult to explain. A lot of people come here and they're like, oh, you just make videos, and it's like no work, but people don't understand how much work it is to actually make videos. There's quite a lot that goes on behind it, because you have to, it's not just filming, it's editing, and then you can't just write day 5 and then like vlogs and stuff like that just don't really work today. So you need to then package all of that, you need to make a thumbnail, and doing that takes time. And then you need to upload it, you need to schedule it, and you need to create text for it. So I've actually created a system now where I just feel, okay, this is what I want to talk about. So I don't think so much about finding the perfect subject or doing any kind of research. I just talk about what I feel like talking about. And then I can generate, I actually use AI to help me come up with what would be a good idea for a thumbnail. And then the Gemini helps me come up with a concept. And then I use another AI to create an image. And I have to create like generally 15 images or something like that. And then I usually find something that I like, and then I bring that to a program. I find some text that works with the video, and then I have some other steps that I go through as well. But it's all about just minimizing how much time, because I like the talking, I like the actually sharing stuff. The other stuff, I mean, it needs to be done, and in some ways it's fun, but I'd love to have that automated. So now I've found a way to make that a bit quicker. So I'm this month and next month I've decided that I'll do 2 videos per week, just to see how that feels, because it is a lot of fun to make videos like that, and I like to just be able to sit down anywhere and then talk off the top of my head if there's something I like to talk about. And I have a lot of stuff I like to talk about. And that's one of the reasons I enjoy these evenings so much, because here I get to talk about all kinds of fun stuff and people ask questions. And when people ask questions, they give me something to talk about, and then I learn because I have to share. And when I share, I need to find good ways of sharing what I'm actually going through. So it's useful for me, and hopefully it's useful for you as well. I see Catherine is saying, I'm back to work in office, so it's more difficult. I see. Of course, are you in the US? Because that would mean this is during the middle of the day, right? I can't remember. I think you were in the US. Have you joined our Discord chat, by the way, Catherine? We have in the weekends, I think there might be, maybe this weekend. Yes, US, yeah. So it's the middle of the day for you. I think it might be this weekend. I'll probably we have group coaching calls on Discord directly. So it's a video conference call, and then everyone can see each other and we can have a talk. It's actually really fun. I see, I wondered, how do I not get discouraged when I read about monks breaking their vows? Oh, do you mean about that thing? There was a woman who blackmailed some monks. Is that the one you're thinking of? There was a woman who had sex with monks, and I think she took photos of it or filmed it or something, and then she blackmailed them. I think it was in Thailand. Is that the one you're referring to, or is it something else? Sounds like fun. Oh, I thought you were commenting on me saying blackmailing monks. So, yeah, that sounds like fun. It's a fun thing to do, blackmailing monks. Do you have the info posted? Yeah, if you go to... Yeah, I got that. My first reaction was that you were commenting on what I was saying. But then I realized that you were talking about group coaching. If you go to any video, the first comment will have join the Discord, and there's a link, and you press that link and you come to Discord. And it will usually, we've been just having blackmailing monks. Also sounds funny. I know. There's a lot of crazy stories I've heard. Some of them also involve monks doing really bad, like really seriously bad crimes and bad stuff. But in general, JVB, I would say that if you knew the things I know from the inside of being a monk, you'd probably be discouraged. If you thought that was the main thing, keeping the vows. But if you instead saw it as they're just normal human beings trying to do their best, and there's a lot of them who come into this with very little education, no alternatives, and a lot of religious beliefs rather than a will to practice and to develop themselves. Well, they want to develop themselves from the religious perspective. Then you'd probably see it different. So I personally, I don't, I mean, if I know it's kind of hailed as that, you have the monks and you look up to them, they're so pure, and like, it's just not true. That's not what monks are like. There are a lot of incredible monks who really are focused and devoted to practicing meditation and to developing their minds and to understanding all of this. But there are also some monks who are not nice people. I met some monks I would call really bad names because they were just not nice people. They were like, I would never spend time with them unless I had to. And they were not kind to other people either, but they were monks, so people still like, oh yeah, they probably have something to say. I'll never forget one monk who was just so angry at everyone. And there was a sharing session where people asked questions, and there was this young mother who asked a genuine question. She was saying, I remember this so clearly. She said, my daughter is 5, hits me. How should I handle this, or how should I approach this to make it less of an issue? And then this monk, who has no children, who's one of the angriest people I know, started saying like, yeah, it's your fault. It's because you don't love your daughter enough. If you would show her more love, then she wouldn't hit you. And having kids, one daughter is 6 and my son is 3, I'm kind of like, I went up to that woman after and said like, yeah, don't take it personal or anything like that, but monks are just the whole idea of a sangha is that it's a vehicle. It's a way for you to practice, and you can devote all of your time and become a monk, and then practice from that perspective. But you don't need to do that, and you can use them as something that you look up to. But again, people become monks more like they become priests. It's like an occupation. It's not what it was once upon a time, where people actually really practice. Today, people believe that, it's just about following the precepts. That's what it means to be a monk. If you behave in a certain way, if you follow these precepts, you don't have sex, you live in celibacy, you don't have money, just become homeless. Homeless people don't have money. Most of them don't have sex. Maybe so, I don't actually know, but yeah, of course they have sex actually. But there's probably some who live without having sex, but that doesn't make them holy just because of that. It's not about, the precepts are there to make it easier to practice, and then they're normal human beings. So I wouldn't look for my inspiration from what other people do. I would look to you. Like, what do you do? Why would it affect you that they're doing something poorly? It's like me being upset because there's people who create war, or people who lie, people who do dumb stuff, and they're not living in my near vicinity even. And still I could feel bad about that if I wanted to, and feel discouraged, like, there's no point. I'm going to become a bad person as well because other people are doing it. So it's a similar thing with monastics. I never really, I guess I can get it, but I was never like that. I never looked at monks and thought like, they're so amazing and that's why I want to become one. I was just curious, what do they do? Like, they must know the answers. If I become one, then I should be able to figure out these answers as well. But as I said, the problem is that most monks spend very little time meditating. They're more religious figures who conduct rites and rituals, and so there's, yeah. I'm sorry. The problem for me is that I don't see why you would be discouraged by it, because for me it's nothing new. And again, actually another thing. I think it's also because you consider it to be important that they keep their vows, and I consider their vows to be just, it's just part of the. So think of it like this. I talk a lot about enjoying being here, and if you can really learn to appreciate this moment, that means you're ultimately giving up your identity, because identity want to fight this moment. The identity wanted to be different. It should be like I want it to be. Everyone should love everyone. No one should eat meat. No one should make war. No one should be mean. Everyone should be kind. Everyone should love everyone. Everyone should stop driving around in cars to pollute the nature. Like, there's all these things that I, as a person, think people should stop doing. And when I allow myself to feel good now, despite all of that happening, that means the self goes, no, we cannot do that. We're not allowed to feel good now because they're doing all of this crappy stuff. So that's creating a lot of sense of self, because I now have an identity that I'm holding on to. Now, if you think you have a strong identity, I can tell you that people who become monks, some of them, not all of them, but most of them, identify very strongly with being monks. That's kind of the whole idea, that there's a rule that says that if you ever, you're not allowed to remove all of your monk robes ever. You actually have to shower with your monk robes on. There's like some who say that it's enough with a belt. I just kept my belt on. But there are some who are really strict. Basically, if you ever undress fully and not have a single piece of monk robes on you, you're no longer a monk. There are some people who would believe that, which is just ridiculous. It's like, what are you talking about? Can you see how much distortion, how much friction, how much identity it means? I have to have. Why on earth would you need a piece of cloth? Just like saying, you need to have a ring and say that you're married. Otherwise you can't love someone. You need to have that ring. If you don't love someone. It's not true. Like, what? You don't need that. I mean, you can have it and it's nice and it's like a symbolical thing, but you don't need that. Catherine, love hearing these stories about your time as a monk. It's so interesting. Oh, nice to hear. It feels like so far away. JV, I guess I find inspiration when I find a moment of peace in the world of vile people and superficial greed. When I find a moment of that peace, even for a bit, have empathy for me and others. Well, you don't need to have that from others. I mean, I know you. Well, I don't know you personally, but I know you from interacting with you here, and I can tell that you're a really nice guy. If you'd live here, I'd probably say, like, oh, that's JVB. Like, he's just a cool guy. And just, I have this thing I see people are just like a good person, you know? And what I mean by that is that it's someone who's just, they have their heart in the right place. They don't try to hurt other people. They're not, I think they can do selfish stuff, but they don't do it at the expense of others to the degree that it actually hurts them and just behave like, assholes. And I can tell just from reading, like, you're a nice guy. And I think most people who come to this chat, I don't think of anyone actually that I wouldn't consider like that. So you don't need to have monks to do that. You actually have people here in the chat, and you probably have friends around you who are like that as well. And if you don't, then there's at least something in them that you can see, like, oh, this is something nice. And if you have nothing, and if you don't see anyone in this chat, then you have yourself, because that's ultimately all you need. When I was traveling around to meditation centers, I liked it when I came to a center when it was serious practice and people practiced, and that atmosphere made it easier for me to practice. Because when everyone else was sitting, waking up, like, I remember, is it called Luna? I think it was called Luna Buddhist Hermitage or something like that. It was in Penang, in Malaysia. And they had a schedule from 3:30 in the morning till 9:45, I think, or 9:30 in the evening. That was a long day. And if you were serious, you'd sit 1 hour in your room. But I liked being there because the atmosphere was like, you had your kuti, you ate your food, you slept, you woke up, you walked, and it's calm, it was quiet. You sat in the meditation hall, there was lots of people sitting there, you chanted, then you sat, walked, breakfast, and then you could go and rest a little bit, go back, meditate, and then there's a bell, and there's lunch, and you eat, and then you take a shower, and then you sit, walk, and you have some tea, and then you sit again and walk again in the evening, and then all of a sudden it's night, and you go to your room, and you sit a little bit, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up. There's this whole kind of inertia from the world around you helping you practice. But you never need that, and it's not necessary, and I didn't always agree with the things that were being taught there, and I didn't even share their practice, but I still like being there because I believed in my practice. It didn't matter if other people did stuff that I thought was dumb, or I saw so much intrigue, so much internal conflict and stuff that goes on in these centers. When you come and stay for a week or even a month, you don't see that, but when you stay there longer, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. JV, you know, sometimes I feel guilty for trying to be a decent person. Why? Others I've noticed feel insulted that I'm at least trying to not be an asshole. Good thing I know I am. Sometimes I feel guilty for trying to... What does it mean to be a decent person? Remember, decent doesn't mean you try to change other people into your beliefs or to have them do what you want them to do, which is what I said before. You don't need the rest of the world to behave according to your criteria for how they should behave for you to be happy. That's the whole fallacy. This is, if you would look at what I'm teaching, the main difference, which makes me say that, I actually believe that the Dalai Lama has got it wrong. I can honestly say that. And the reason I say that is because the Mahayana school believes it's that you should make the whole world get out of suffering. Everyone should be happy. Then we can allow ourselves to be liberated. In other words, we hinge our liberation, our happiness on other people, what they do. For me to be happy, you have to be happy. Otherwise, I'm not really happy. I don't allow myself to fully go as far as I can and be happy here until you're happy. And it's a really nice thing to want good for other people. But now I'm wanting something from you. I want you to be happy. For me to be okay, I need you to be happy. If you're not happy, I'm not getting what I want. So you need to be happy. And I found that I sat with hundreds of people while I was a monk and had conversations with them. And the only thing I did was that I just sat down and saw, do I have any distortion towards what they're saying? Do I want something from them? And I made sure that I was just sitting there, not wanting anything from them, not feeling any kind of, this isn't what they're saying, or no, I want to interject and say my point of view. I want to make them see that I'm a good person. Try to look at all of that and just let it go and just be there. And I had so many people say, like, it's amazing talking to you, because it's just so I can say anything, because I'm not judging what they're saying. I don't need them to be anything. I don't even need to help them for me to feel good. I feel good. And when you sit next to someone like that, who then you can throw out all these things, oh, it's so terrible, and they want the other person to get going, this whole thing they've done 1,000 times before. And when that doesn't happen, then all of a sudden, oh, I don't I don't need to do this, and they can stop doing that. Don't get me wrong and think that I'm saying you shouldn't be a nice person. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you shouldn't limit your enjoyment of being here based upon what other people do. And that includes helping them. And it includes them being assholes sometimes. There's no reason why you shouldn't be allowed to feel good just because you have friends around you who are behaving in a way you disagree with. There's also no reason why you shouldn't allow yourself to feel good when you see someone suffering just because they're suffering. Help them, do something, but why would you go and then go down, oh no, I feel so terrible as well. And obviously that's easy to say, and I'm not saying become numb or don't feel it. It's quite the opposite. You allow yourself to feel it and really let those emotions just come by. And don't resist it, because what we do is when we say, say something really terrible happened. I saw something on YouTube, something that happened to a child. I was like, oh my goodness, it's terrible, absolutely insane. And I have children myself, and I just go, oh my goodness, that poor child and those poor parents. But when I'm saying that, I make sure, like, I can see, oh, that's a terrible thing. Can I do anything to avoid that happening for people around me? But there's no reason for me to start feeling bad about that and then bringing myself down there, or going around and being miserable about the state of the world, which is absolutely crap in so many ways. And there are some people in the leadership that are just very dubiously performing their duties, to say the least. So we have to find a way that you can be you and find joy independent of the outside world. Law of attraction, you manifest your perfect life, then you can be happy. But you can't just be happy now. Think about this. We're sitting here now. If we're sitting here now and you feel good, or we're sitting here now and you have $1 billion on your bank account, it wouldn't change this moment. Because if you feel good now, it doesn't matter that you have $1 billion in your bank account and all those opportunities and options to do stuff and a fancy car. That wouldn't change your experience in this moment. It means in the next moment you might have different choices, but in this moment there really is no difference. There really isn't. But we're so used to the idea that, oh, no, we have to achieve, we have to perform, and so we need to have more, bigger, better, faster, stronger. What if it's enough to just have enough and to enjoy being here? JB, right, I don't try to be a well-meaning person to convince others of how right I am. I just don't like it when people can't mind their business and try to bully me into being another jerk like them. Yeah, that doesn't sound nice. You'll have to tell me more about that if you, what that means more specifically. I just realized it's actually getting late and I'm getting tired. But it was so nice to have some chat, because the chat was so quiet in the beginning. And like I said, there was something really weird going on with the statistics. I'm not sure what was happening. Catherine, it's nice to have you back. I hope you joined the Discord, and we'll see maybe this weekend. I'm trying to get my fiancé to join us, but it's not as easy as I thought, even though we have our parent-in-laws here. But she will come here, I promise. YouTube is weird. Yeah, the back end. I had one time when I was sitting for 20 minutes and there was no one there. And I was like, what did I do wrong? And it turned out I hadn't actually started the stream. So that one was kind of funny. I've also had it that I start the wrong stream. So I'm actually starting the next week's stream. But it's nice to have you back. And JVB, nice to see you as always. And I see there's some other people here as well. Nice to have you here as well, even though you're quiet and not chatting. I wish you all a pleasant week, and join the Discord. I think it will probably be this week, and depending on a little bit how the weather is, that we'll have a group coaching call, and I'll see you again on Monday otherwise. Let's see, JP, Ines says, Martin, don't try to convince me to drink tea instead of coffee. Perfect. That's nice. Thank you. And thank you too. I'll see you on Monday or this weekend, perhaps.